average function in T-SQL or Transact-SQL. This is the third video in which we're looking at some of these functions that are available to us in T-SQL or Transact-SQL. The average function, or the AVG function, which is AVG parenthesis function, which is how it's written, basically returns the average value of a numeric column in any T-SQL table. And I've just put the syntax here for your perusal. So you can see it's select average AVG and then parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you specify the column name, and you should remember that this column name should hold numeric data. Then it pretty much follows the syntax of a regular T-SQL statement where you've got from table name, and then if you want you can filter it by a where clause. So let's just set up the environment and jump into the demo. So I'm using Azure Data Studio because I'm on a Mac, and I've got if you're on a Mac and want to know how to install this so you can start using it, I've got an installation guide which I'll link to in the top right corner of the screen. If you're on Windows, I've got an installation guide to a SQL Server Management Studio, which is the tool that you need for Windows. But the important thing is that both of them are completely the same. The code is the same, the syntax is the same, the logic is the same. You can follow the instructions in this video exactly the same, and they will work definitely on both tools. It's just that the UI is a bit different. That's it. So don't worry about that. And apart from that, I've got a GitHub repository I linked to in the description, which has two files. One is the average demo.sql file, which will have basically I'll copy these queries which I'm going to show you and keep it in this code file. And I've also got a table setup.sql file which I've hard-coded the data for the mock table which I'm going to be using for the demo. So if you want to use this data and follow along the video, you can just copy it here and paste it into your whatever tool you're using, and then when you do a select star, you should see the same data. So I'm going to show you the data so that you can get a quick idea. Oh, sorry, put a colon instead of semicolon. Yeah, so here you can see the table has an ID, a first name, a last name, an email, a gender, an IP address. It's got an age, a country, a credit card provider, and a currency. So yeah, that's just the sample data. And now let's jump in to a brief basic usage of the average function. So suppose let's look at the numeric data that we have in this column. So in this data, there's basically only one column which would need an average calculator on it, which is the age column, which is a properly numeric data set, which is the only properly numeric column in this table apart from the ID, but the ID wouldn't make sense having the average function used on it. So let's get the average age of people in this table. So how we would do that is select AVG parenthesis, inside the parenthesis specify the column name which is age, and then you can do from sample data like it shows in the syntax. And when you run this, again I've used a colon, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, so we can see that 48 is the average age of people in the table. And like in previous functions, we can use the alias functionality to just make the data clearer to us. So we can put average age, and then we get 48. All right, so then apart from that, what you can do is filter the data even further. So suppose I wanted to find the average age of Russians. After this from table name, I can use a where and then specify the column name and the condition. So where country is equal to, let's say, Russia, because that's what we had set the alias as. And now when we run it, we can see that the average age of Russians is lower than the average age of the table as a whole. So now that brings us to an interesting use case of the average. Suppose we wanted to return all the people in the table who are older than the average age of the table. So we had found out that the average age of the table is 48, and we want to return people who are older than that, but obviously we want to do that in one statement. If it was a large data set, we wouldn't calculate the data separately and then manually filter the data based on the average that we had calculated manually. So how would we do that with one large statement? And if you'd watched a couple previous videos, you'll know that by nesting TSQL queries, we could achieve the desired output. So I'll just show you how that's done. So we can do a select star from sample data, which is basically just to get all the data back to us. And this is where we get to the interesting part. So we do where age greater than. So what needs to come on the other side of this greater than operator is obviously the average age of the table. And to do that, we just nest the previous statement that we had looked at, which gave us back the average age of the table. So this is called nesting of queries, and it's quite a powerful functionality in TSQL. So now what we've done is we've specified a condition where when we select all this data from this table, the age should be greater than the output of this statement, and the output of this statement will be the average age of the same table, of this table itself, which is 48. So age will be 48. It's just that we've not hard coded that, we've allowed it to be programmatically determined. So when we run that, we get a table full of people whose age is greater than 48. And I know it's 48 only because we've run it before, but you can be sure that with this logic, it will be true. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Like this video, comment, share this video with your friends so that we can please YouTube's algorithm and keep putting out more videos like this. Thank you.